Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine. Giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's Mike and Blaine. I'm Mike Mylan, also known as Cashflow Mike. That is Blaine Birch, the CEO, co-founder of Dry Run, the best cash flow forecasting software on the planet. I think it's 220. Am I right? Did I get it right?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. I think it's 220.
I looked it up.
Good. Hey,
one week off, and we're out of sync completely.
Well, dude, and everything has just been so crazy. Like, I mean, I even coming into this, I'm like 5 minutes behind just because meeting. And I'm like going, ooh, I don't think my bladder is going to last if I don't go before I get on this podcast. So, yeah, and we're in this crazy new format. I know it's business, beer, and BS, but we're doing a crazy amount of relevancy BS things, right? So we kind of flipped it on its head and trying to connect what's happening in the world to your business.
Yes, sometimes very loosely, but it'll be fun and it'll be interesting. And I don't know, it's a little bit, it's like walking on a tightrope a little bit. Pick something to go with it, which we always have fun with. So I think it's going to be really fun. And this is the first live one in 2026. I think we probably had one that actually posted, but no, this is the first live one. This is basically the inaugural 2026 season 6 kickoff today, live.
Season 6. Hey, and I got to tell you what, we tried this format out, right? This brand new format out. We tried it out with Bigfoot and got more comments and more interaction than some of our other ones, man. I thought it was kind of cool.
And it was a fun conversation too. So we've had, and then last week was about whiskey, or 2 weeks ago was about the whiskey sub, which I just always like talking about whiskey. So that was, yeah, this is a really fun sort of way to take it. So 26 is going to be a big year for us. 25, remember, was the year our viewage surpassed 1 million in 1 year. So that's quite exciting.
I was going to check that, right? See if I could check. I got to look it up on my phone, I guess.
We do it now. A lot of it was on one short, but still, it was a lot of views. So we're going to brag about that all year.
It's a crazy amount of views. We're over 1 million now. Where are we at?
Should be by now, yeah.
1.1 million.
1.1, and then all our other views on top of it. We got a ton of views last year, so that's quite exciting. So let's beat it this year. Let's beat that this year. So we always got to kick it off with some beer. What are you drinking today?
Ooh, I actually was prepared for this one because I thought we were going to do it, so I bought this. It is by Starbase Brewing, right? Starbase Brewing, and it's Houston. We have a porter.
Nice. That's awesome.
Right, and I'm gonna say they got to be Houston based, right? If they're called Starbase and they're Houston based, they got to be Houston based. Oh, Austin!
Nice.
Shoot, they're out of Austin. Hey,
awesome.
Pardon me, I don't want to offend either Houston or Austin out there, but they're out of Austin.
Okay, awesome. That's great. I don't think we've featured that brewery before. That's really cool.
I'd never seen it before, but I thought, oh my God, we're going to talk about, like today, we're going to talk about space. So what a great one to kind of connect to the theme with.
Yeah, it's perfect. I got a new brewery today too. Can you see it? I picked it out of my fridge because it said Outer Range Brewing Company, except the actual beer is Pass was closed, which seems kind of wintry. But the Outer Range Brewing, I just sounded kind of fun and seemed kind of outer space-ish. And they're from Cambridge, Maryland. And because it's the first in the new year, I used a celebratory mug or
nice.
glass or whatever.
Hey, happy New Year to you. Yeah, Happy
New Year. It's the only first of the new year we're going to have for our show. So I thought a little celebration would be kind of fun.
So, and we got people that sponsor our beer, right? And it's a new year. So if you were a year-long sponsor last year and you don't hear your name, you know what time it is.
Oh, yeah.
You know what time it is. So Hey, let's lead off. I'm always going to lead with neighbor Pat, right? Neighbor Pat
Mhm.
is just, I mean, he came down not too long ago. He brought me some other beers. He went and found, I remember I had that Nordic jam.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. He went and found a variety pack by, I think it's called Pitchers Brewing, and he brought some down. And so we've been kind of drinking those just together, right? Just ones
Nice.
that we hadn't tried before. And man, they're good. They got some fruit and stuff to them, like, a little bit of flavor. But man, Neighbor Pat can always be counted on for delivering some beers. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you, Pat. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to dive in with Devin here because I'm not even sure who carried on so far this year. I totally forget, but I know Devin. He was the first one to commit, I think, into 26. And Devin, biggest LSU fan on the planet, also Netflix star.
That's right.
Thanks, Devin.
Netflix
Always
superstar.
appreciate it.
Hey, our only one that we have for the whole year that's already, got in is Karen Harrison of 3S Smart Consulting.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Karen Harrison already is in. And I'm going to tell you what, she's got a new book out on Amazon, an Amazon bestseller called Stop Growing Broke, Start Growing Profits. So go check that out. And if your business is in trouble, contact her at 3S Smart Consulting. She will get you out of any jam. All right. Any jam she can help you with. If you're struggling with cash, don't stay up at night. Call Karen.
Thank you, Karen. Much appreciated. And is that all we have that's committed to this year so far?
That's it. Yeah, we're light. We're light.
It always starts slow, guys. But you know what? By the end of last year and by the end of the year before, we had like 6 or 8. So we've had a ton of sponsors. So make sure if you guys want to be mentioned on the show, is the best value in sponsorship. Remember, we had 1 million views last year. Probably not all of this part, but we did 1 million views. And $5. Go to mikeandblaine.com, buy us a beer for $5, or you can buy like Karen, buy it for the whole year, and we'll mention you every single week. And we always appreciate the support and the sponsorship, you guys. So, and also please subscribe, follow, and tell your friends. Start with that. Go. We always forget till the end.
Speaking of friends, right? So I'm sitting on the back deck out there, and there's something been happening in the Texas sky lately. All right, this is where the topic comes up, right? What was the title we come up with for this one?
Oh, it was, oh man, where did my mouse go?
Was that a meteor shower or something like that?
What if that wasn't a meteor?
Oh, what if it wasn't? Yeah. So what if it wasn't a meteor shower? All right. So here's what happened. Sitting on the back deck, and I don't know, again, this Texas sky thing has been so clear, not a cloud at night. And I've been going out there every night because when I look up, not only are the stars big and bright deep in the heart of Texas, I get it. The song, but not only that, but there's not a cloud. The lights from my backyard area around the pool and all that, and I got some of them up towards the trees. They're hitting the trees just right, and they're casting this glow around the trees, and it looks like a movie set to me. And it's just mesmerizing me like crazy. Like, oh my God, this is a weird, like almost, if we lived in a simulation, it would look like that. That's really what the sky has been looking like. And so I'm like, oh, what's up there? So I got this app, right? It's called like Skyview or Starview. I think it's Skyview.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And you point it around, it tells you, oh, that's Mars. Oh, that's, the moon. Oh, that's, whatever. And it kind of helps you orient on the sky. And I got kind of interested in it because occasionally, remember Austin's right up the street. Occasionally you see this chain of lights, and it's Starlink, right? So there's basically there's a lot. There's just a lot of shit in the sky right now. There just is. And every time I get on, probably because I talk about it, but every time I get on like Netflix or whatever, there's a documentary, the news is talking about it. It doesn't matter where you go. People are talking about things in the sky. Well, around this same time, this thing called 3-Eye Atlas, this comet. You remember that?
Yeah.
They're talking about that. They don't know if it's a comet. They don't know if, I just think it's, some Earth visitor that probably won't leave a Yelp review for Earth. That's why we don't get so many, we'll leave so many,
1 star.
1 star. Dude, I didn't stop. I just drove by, right?
Yeah.
So you've driven by restaurants before.
Too high in sugar.
So I'm like, okay, well, what else is up there? At the same time, there's 2 other events going on get almost nothing. It's this thing, and I had to look it up. It's URSIDS. There's a meteor shower called URSIDS that's happening,
Mhm.
or happened already, and then there's another thing called and I'm gonna butcher the name because I'm not a space guy, but it's GEM. So I'm gonna say Geminids blaze. I'm gonna
Sure.
say, but it's probably
Right.
Geminids. It's probably Geminids, or it's probably Gemidids, or I don't know. I don't watch Star Trek, so I don't know this stuff. But
So what
there's this
exactly
stuff
is it
that's
though?
happening. Well, I think they really do think it's a comet, but because of the
Yeah.
shape, and I guess what was happening with this 3-eye atlas is that it would lose its tail on occasion. So it was like an intermittent tail. So they were thinking, well, maybe it's not a comet because it doesn't have the tail all the time, only some of the times, and maybe it's just the way they were viewing it.
Mm.
Uh, but it looked like it was more thruster, less, less
Yeah.
meteor, right? So there was
Yeah.
this thing that maybe it's an alien spaceship, right?
People
So,
jump to that conclusion so quick.
oh yeah, well, especially now, right? Right. So,
Yeah.
so just know this: we're not going to give you an astronomy 101 course because that's not us. What I'm learning
Yeah.
about me, Blaine, is that if we're not talking about business, I probably don't know anything about anything. Wait, that's what I'm
Yeah.
learning really fast.
We're both
But
finding out that.
yeah, but it does make me wonder because of that and because of all the stuff they're talking about. Well, yeah, we're trying to reverse engineer alien spacecrafts and things. I don't think we're alone. Uh, I'm going to
Mhm.
say that. Like, I don't think we're alone. I don't think I've said that before in my life, but I'm like, oh, yeah, there's probably some other folks out here right now. They're probably already here or been here.
Could be. I'm not sure that I'm still a little skeptical that some other like an alien has been here, but I have zero doubt that there's other life in the universe. Like that just is ludicrous to me. Like um look how much, there's so much life in Earth, and they say, well, how come people haven't got here yet? Well, think about how many different life forms have been on this planet. Only one could build a rocket. And if the meteor hadn't killed the dinosaurs, they'd probably still be hanging around here too, and still nobody would be able to build a rocket. And everything is really far away. So that's my expert opinion. Stuff's really, really far away. So I don't know but then there's all this weird shit flying around the sky. So I don't know.
Well, if so here's what they say, right? They being the TV.
Okay, here it goes. Here we go.
That really in the 40s, right? The Rockwell incident, or is it Roswell incident? Right?
Roswell, yeah.
We were actually visited, and they do have biological evidence of aliens, and they do have uh, technology, and that the race is on because of all other incidents. Roswell wasn't the only one, but Russia's got some stuff, China's got some stuff, but there is a race to reverse engineer things like this, and the biggest proof that they have was the thing that they talk about, the transistor, right? They talk about how fast after that incident the transistor came into play, and you're like, oh, well, that doesn't seem like a big a leap. It does when the guy that they give credit to for the transistor was one of the people that really wasn't even working on something like that. It was like like an accidental thing that came out of nowhere, and they're like, "Oh, how did he come up with that?" When everybody else that was working on something similar or whatever went a whole different direction. So it came out of the
Mm.
blue, and it was just giving credit to a guy that really wasn't involved with. It was like a really weird set of circumstances that the transistor that ended up changing technology came into play, and it was right after Roswell. So they're trying to connect that as the first evidence of us reverse engineering things that happen in alien spacecrafts.
Doesn't it seem that they're really bad at reverse engineering if we're on 80 years or whatever we are now, 80 years, and and that's what they've like it just seems like there should be more cool stuff. Because
except for the fact if it's not stuff you've ever seen and there's metals or there's components that you didn't know could be combined or can't even identify what some of them are, like what is this? Just like what they're saying now about like the way space travels, right? Spacecrafts they're called UAPs or something like that. And UAPs because they can't be UFOs because they don't just fly; they also go in the water, right? So that's why they changed the name to UAP. But it's like I forget. There's something about transmedium in there. Again, dude, you're listening to two guys that don't. They're just wondering things out loud.
Yeah.
You're like going,
which
this
is what
guy,
most people are too, right? So,
yeah,
a lot of you guys are just with us on this.
yeah. So it's I forget where I was going. What'd you say?
Well, no, I just said everything is so there. Everything is so far away. So because when they say it's like 100 light years away, that means it would take 100 years at light speed, which we haven't even got close to that. That's theoretically the fastest I guess there's some controversy there too, but supposedly the fastest you can go. Who would travel 100 years to get here?
So here's what they're saying is that the reason why it behaves differently than what we know about flight and thrust and lift and all that about planes and other common, air traveling vehicles, space traveling vehicles, is that there is a way that they've been able to manipulate time and space in a bubble. So they're operating inside of a bubble that does not have the constraints of gravity and time and the way we perceive it. So it can move and jump to different locations based on their own environment. It's like they've bent time and space around them. Right. So in their mind, it's real time, but in our time, we're seeing it really craziness.
Yeah. Just like my car keys.
Yeah.
Suddenly they're gone. They teleported to some other area of the house. I don't know how.
Yeah. So this is going to be the dumbest episode we've ever had because you got two guys that know zero about space, zero about aliens, zero, and we're going to talk about it.
But we're going to talk about because it's interesting. But yeah, I think the thing that's fascinating to me is, okay, we've never had more access to information. Like you just ask ChatGPT, ask Chelsea, right? Just type something in and the AI is going to tell you something, right? Never had more information. And somehow we've also never had more kind of conspiracy theories. And like we literally did something on Bigfoot because there's so much stuff around about aliens and Bigfoot and I'm sure probably mermaids, all like everything. It seems like information would quash at least some of these things, but it seems to be the opposite. I think do people go seeking out what they want to, like find is sort of a confirmation bias, I guess is the biggest thing. Hey, I want to, I believe in spaceships, so I'll find a lot of information online that confirms my belief in spaceships have visited my backyard.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's always, it's like the Bigfoot thing, right? Why can't we get a picture of any of this stuff? And they're saying, well, there's a bunch of it out there. But when you look at it, you're like, yeah, maybe. But I think now what the Navy's produced, even what's unclassified or whatever, tells me something's there. Now, is it alien or is it something that we've created that we're testing? Is it, that's the thing, is that you never know because, I'm of the opinion that the government and their technology or even private companies and some of their technology might be as much as 25 years ahead of us.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, I don't know.
It seems, it stands to reason that if they've discovered something, they're reverse engineering it. They got to test it. You got to do, but I don't know. They think they'd be smarter testers than I'm going to fly it up in front of a Navy jet. But then the jets see something. There's something on the cameras, right? So that's bizarre.
I'm just going to assume that reverse engineering isn't necessarily chronological. That you could take it apart in one piece and one piece and one piece. There's some pieces you might go, I don't know what this is yet. And you set it aside and you go to the next one, right? So now you got these gaps in your engineering that go 20 years later, you go, oh, now I know what that does because we built 4 other things that needs, right? Or needs that
Mhm.
part. And now they figure out, exactly what it does and how it works. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's probably more complicated. I mean, think about the people right now. If you gave a laptop computer to Leonardo da Vinci, or that could have all these intricate drawings and could already had visualized air travel, right? When he's the one that had all the mechanics and machines and things like that. If you gave him a laptop, could he figure it out then, or would it take multiples of, like, what the hell's a transistor? What's a CPU? And I think it's more like that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. No, that would make sense. Maybe if you gave it to him when he was 7 years old, he'd probably pick it up faster than when he's an adult. That seems the
Yeah, like
standard
everybody
reason
else.
today.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but think about even then. He's like going, well, how'd they even power this thing? Right. So I
Mhm.
think it's more like that, where and probably you could even go as far to say as we are the people that are the aliens dropping this stuff off, because they're stuck on something and they need for this technology to exist today somehow.
Mhm.
Because of something in the future. There's something that they missed a step, or who knows? I mean, if you believe in
Yeah.
time travel now, which is totally different than space travel, aliens, now we're in time travel.
Except for that bubble you were talking about, right? Like, so maybe there's some weird crossover. I guess it's not really necessarily time travel, but it's, I don't know, what, existing in 2 places at once, or I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Chelsea about that. Like, what is that thing that they're talking about? That let's see, spacecraft.
This is where we're
Uh,
gonna get some really well-informed data back. So it's kinda ask her, "Okay, give me an answer from scientists and give me an answer from Facebook." We'll see what the difference is in the answers.
so all right, so that's scientific and 10th grade explanation.
10th grade. There we go. Although I suspect 10th grade this right now is pretty much hell of a lot more advanced than 10th grade when we were in 10th grade, would be my guess.
Who knows? All right, so I said, hey, spacecraft can move within a bubble that can bend time and space. Give me a scientific and 10th grade explanation.
All right.
And it'll probably say, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
All right, so
All right.
it's called a warp bubble, right? All right, so
Okay.
it's a warp bubble is created around the spacecraft. Inside the bubble, space and time is flat, and the ship doesn't move in a traditional sense. All right, this is the scientific explanation. However, space time in front of the bubble contracts, gets compressed, while space time behind it expands. This causes the bubble and the ship inside to ride a wave of distorted space time, potentially affecting speeds faster than light. So they're saying
Right.
this bubble, manipulates time and space around it, right? That is, but they're saying that it takes some type of exotic matter or negative mass to do this in what we know about the world today. Right.
Okay.
So that's scientific.
So did they name that? Well, they must have named it after the Star Trek warp drive. But how much did Gene Roddenberry know about space and time travel when he came up with the warp drive idea? Because
Uh,
somehow it seems kind of, he didn't mention the bubble necessarily, but
yeah, it's the idea is often referred to as the Alcubierre drive. Alcubierre drive, proposed by physicist Miguel Alcubierre in '94. So yes,
yeah,
definitely those words are probably cultivated, right, to form this.
yeah, yeah.
The
No,
words,
I would
right?
guess, yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So the 10th grade explanation. Imagine space is like a giant rubber sheet. I'm actually might gonna learn something here, right? And your spaceship is sitting on it. Instead of zooming through space really fast like a rocket, you bend the rubber sheet so that your destination comes to you.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I guess what they're saying, this is called a warp bubble, like a bubble around your ship that squishes space in front of you and stretches it behind you. So you're not
Hmm.
flying through space fast, you're riding a moving piece of space itself, like surfing a wave or standing on a moving sidewalk. You get there faster without speeding up your own feet. Dude, that actually made
Okay.
sense to me. I'm like, damn, I'm as smart as a 10th grader. You start
That
talking
remains to be seen.
yeah, that's right. You start talking about negative energy and exotic matter, and I'm gone.
Yeah, we're gonna
You
be
talk
out of here
about a
pretty
rubber
quick.
sheet. Uh,
Well,
and I can visualize.
it's a good illustration though. It actually helps to visualize it a lot easier, right?
Mm,
So, if the powers that be actually have access to all of this kind of stuff, I sort of get why they maybe don't share that with the public because maybe they think that it'd be like the Lord of the Flies kind of thing going on, which seems like it's halfway there anyway. But doesn't it seem like they should stop and think, hmm, there's something a lot bigger out there. Maybe we better stop fiddling around with insignificant stuff. There's some we just found out we're not alone or whatever. Right? Seems like the response is a little strange if they actually know that. I don't know. What if you get invaded by little green men?
mm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, if they're that technologically advanced, why even mess with us? Well, we're like
Yeah.
a Planet of the Apes down here. I mean, when it comes down
Yeah.
to it, I mean,
Yeah.
if we're that far behind, maybe we're insignificant now. It's like when you walk outside your house, there's all kinds of stuff that are happening around you, butterflies and bees and birds and ants, and you don't care about that mostly,
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
right? You might occasionally get curious, and maybe that's what it is. They're curious.
Hmm.
If it's us, then they have meaning if it's us evolved in time and there's a way for them to come back to a specific moment in time. If it's us, then they have all the incentive not to kill us, right? Because it kills them.
Oh man, now you're getting into some pretty Back to the Future mind bending stuff going
Dude,
on here. So,
that's gotta be one of my favorite shows ever. That whole trilogy. I mean,
oh yeah.
uh, yeah, definitely. I have an encyclopedia of it.
Oh, really? Well, a whole trilogy, but none of it will ever match the first one. The first time you see the first one, this is, I don't know, something about that. That was such a great series, but that was such a great show.
Yeah, I just like the callbacks on stuff of how things happen. Like, oh, it makes sense. And I think we talked about that at one point in time. You're like, oh, wait a second. Why didn't Lorraine and shit, what's his name? McFly, not Marty. What's his dad's name? Whatever his dad's name was.
Mhm.
Why didn't they recognize, Marty as their kid? They're like, hey, you remind us of a guy we met in high school. And the best explanation I've heard is, dude, you and I, that whole first or not episode, the whole first movie is only like 3 days long, right? It's only like a period of 3 days. You and I have met people, and for once or 2 hours here or a day there, I can't tell you their name or what they look like now, especially 40 years later.
Well, I barely remember what I looked like 40 years ago, let
Yeah.
alone,
So
let alone
so
someone else
that's what
in
made
high school
sense.
that you met that you met briefly in high school.
Mm-mm.
There's they could have 100 people walk in the door right in front of me here. I wouldn't recognize any of them, or someone might look vaguely familiar. You're not going to go, oh, that was my long lost. But to make the mental leap of, you look exactly like someone in my memory from 40 some years ago that I met for a few days, doesn't, yeah, I don't even think that, it doesn't, that's not, I don't think that's question that has a lot of conspiracy to it, you know?
Yeah, but I just like the things like in that movie where, it was Twin Pines until Marty goes back in time and takes out one of the trees, and then it's Lone Pines Mall.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that's really, I mean, just smart stuff, right? Where, things changed as things changed.
Yeah, good writing. So, did they ever figure out, okay, like, what if he went back in time, but only far enough back to, like, he was 5 years old? Can you have two of the same person in the same place at the same time?
Yeah, that was in the movies.
Was it? I don't
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah. Yeah, where Marty would see himself doing things or running, or they tried to avoid each other. And I didn't try to avoid it. He tried
Oh,
to
okay.
avoid his. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Okay, I haven't
actually in the
seen it
movie.
in a while then. I must have been too long because I don't remember
You better
that.
spend a binge weekend and get caught up there.
Well,
Because this is starting to come to life. This is starting to be real life.
top scientific minds made Back to the Future. So,
Probably right. Probably right. But does
that
wasn't it?
even make sense? Does it make sense that you could go back in time and see yourself? Can you be in two places at the same time?
If it's the rubber sheet, right? If it's a rubber sheet and they touch each other, are you really in two different places in time at the same time?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
You've lost me here. So,
It doesn't make sense, does it? I mean,
Not
that's what we
really.
know. And that's why we haven't reverse engineered everything, because there's stuff like, we're like, I have no idea how that would work.
Mhm.
And then 20 years from now, something will happen. They'll discover this weird matter in the ozone. And they go, oh, that's how they did it. If we use this and combine it with 14,000 other things, that's how they did it. Right. And I think that's why they have that, what's that collider thing over in England? What's that thing called? Hedron
Well,
collider,
yeah, I know. It starts with H, the
Haldron,
Haldron or something like that.
Hadron
Yeah.
collider, right? Where they're trying to figure stuff like that out, right? I
Mhm.
think, of how
Yeah.
matter reacts. Because if it takes negative energy or negative matter, I think that collider is trying to figure out how to create negative matter.
So, if a regular person, non-governmental person, got hold of some of this technology, would they try and reverse engineer it? Like, could you imagine if a regular person, they're an engineer and they managed to reverse engineer something? Imagine the commercialization possibility of something like that.
Yeah, what was it? There was some guy in story. It's probably urban myth. It's probably didn't happen the way that it is, but he had built a time machine out of like uh what are those transformers from the not the cars, the actual power transformers, and did something with these things and disappeared. Now, some people say, government stole him. Some people will say he actually put himself in his own time machine and killed himself, right? And vaporized himself, right? So, who knows what happened? But yeah, look it up. There's a guy that built a time travel machine in Missouri out of transformers. I gotta ask Chelsea on that, because I probably just told the biggest lie we've ever told on this show.
Well, there's probably someone claimed to have, it's a good story, a good story anyway. But I do wonder a little bit about the technology, how quick it's advancing, because they say the technology is advancing now. Like whatever happened in 50 years is in 25, is in 10, is in a year. And you look at the technology today, how quick it's advancing, and is it just people are building on the past so much better and so much faster? Like how did, um, or are there some shortcuts they've found?
Yeah. Uh, well, I mean, this guy, it's like they called it. First of all, ChatGPT says there's no effing way somebody in Missouri could build a time travel machine. No, it didn't say that. I lived in Missouri for a long time, but it does say it's like an internet oddity, and that it
Mhm.
actually looked like a bread box with dials and wires. Yeah. And yeah, so anyway, but it's one of those things where he ended up disappearing, right? But he sold. Okay, check this out. He said it could transport people through time using electromagnetic fields and psychic energy. And
Okay.
he sold hundreds of these things via mail order in the 80s and 90s.
There's probably a time that he went, I better disappear before I end up
That's
in
probably
a
exactly what
jail.
happened, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the
That's probably what happened.
guy's living in the Caribbean under a assumed name or something.
Man, can you believe that? Selling hundreds of these things. Oh, but you needed a map of vortexes because this energy only compiles itself in certain places. So think about that. Now we got a subscription. I found a new place. It's in your state. Subscribe to get all of our new electromagnetic location map.
Well, and it also is probably the get out of jail free card because he can just say, oh no, the technology works. You just didn't find the vortex.
Exactly right. Yeah, because it was a map of vortexes. Oh, and a rare crystal diode. So if you didn't have that installed correctly, yeah, it would never work.
Man, it's amazing what people can sell.
Just like the pet rock, right? So just
Mhm.
like the pet rock. So, all right. So neighbor Breggert, I would tell you about his business. We were talking about the sky, his business,
Oh yeah, to see
the side
the
business.
solar
Yeah,
what do
the
you call it?
glasses, right?
The
The
glasses,
eclipse.
yeah, to see the eclipse, yeah.
Yeah, they're eclipse glasses. So every time that happens, man, they'll sell like I'm gonna give. I'll say 250,000 of these things, like crazy amounts of these glasses. They sell them on
Nice.
Amazon. They even have stands now that they sell them in quick trips, like the gas stations around Texas.
Oh wow, nice.
So like that just to look at the sky, so you don't burn your eyeballs out.
Yeah, so well, yeah, because there's a secondary market for people that don't want to see the eclipse. You can stare at the sun and it's a circle.
Yeah, it's a circle. There you go.
So there's
Yeah,
something there, I guess. That's a pretty good gig if you could sell it with somebody. Just a regular day. Hey, you want to look at the sun?
yeah, but
Oh,
for
there's a
yeah,
circle.
but as a side job, just like a regular
Hmm.
little side job, just I mean, make a little extra money throughout the year, and it happened like twice last year. So I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't think it happens every year, but I mean, if it does, well, I mean, there you go. You got at least a little bit of money coming in every year.
Yeah. And you should have a model that's the teleporting version, $1,000. You just have to find the vortex, the
And the
vortex map,
and the crystal. You need I
and the
mean,
crystal.
if you don't have the right crystal, I don't think it works. That should have been the big clue, right? Oh, you got to have the map of the vortexes and the crystal, or it's not going to
And the
work.
crystal. Yep.
It's going to look like a bread box. So sorry, sorry, it's going to look like a bread box.
Doesn't it seem like this guy like just took a couple law classes in college and then dropped out and started this business? It's
Hey,
like,
have you ever just built something like just to build it in there? I mean, you do knives. I know you do knives, you do skateboards, but I'm talking about just something that you thought would work, maybe like a little invention.
little invention. I don't know if there's anything that would be that like interesting. I remember in uh, a university course I had, I was supposed to build. It was an industrial design course, and I was supposed to build some sort of mechanical something. I have no idea. I don't remember what the um, project was, but what I did is I made like a wooden box, and then I made a hand on top, and when you turn the crank, it would just like drum its fingers dun, 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 on the box. It was like a wooden hand on a wooden box, and it would make this like dun, dun, this cool sound when you cranked it. And the fingers would just that's all it did.
Well, that's cool. That's
But it
cool.
was neat. It was neat. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I was always into structures, right? When I was a kid, we had this dog pen that was in the yard, and the dog pen was still like 8 foot tall, like fenced in, had
Mm.
poles, concrete floor, and it was there when we bought the house, and we never used it, right? We never put a dog out there, it looked like a full time, all year round dog pen.
Weird.
So my dad let me convert it to a clubhouse,
Nice.
right? So every piece of scrap, anything that came across our way, went on a clubhouse. So you can imagine what this dog pit looked like after about a year of what we did to it. And
Yeah.
because I was thinking at that point in time I was going to go to the military. We had to make it defensible, so we had firing ports, and you know you could only get in from the top. You could come in from the front door. So we closed all that off, and you had to climb up on top and then drop down into a ladder from the top, which used to
Nice.
be an open top. So, we actually tried to shore it up. Well, you know what 12 and 14-year-olds do, shoring up the top of a.
Yeah, it's gonna fall on your head.
It actually didn't. Actually, my dad made sure that was actually good. But I mean, the way we were going, it was going to be falling on my head.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
There's something that I think adults, you definitely lose as an adult compared to building stuff as kids, like the forts and and then the inventions and everything as kids. I don't know. When do you lose that? I think you lose it a bit as adults sometimes when you're just inventing and building
Like,
something just for
didn't
no
we?
reason at all.
You and I, though, well, maybe for no reason at all, but you and I mean, we're builders of businesses, we're builders of software, we're builders of, books and training seminars. I mean, I still think that's in me. I think it's manifested in a
Different
more
ways.
a more serious
Yeah.
thing, but I'm still a builder at heart.
Yeah. No, it's true. That's very true. Yeah.
And we just, over Christmas, Mallory got this thing. It's 5,000 pieces or something like that, and they're tiny, not Legos or something else, and you have to build it in layers. And there's a map that comes to it, and it turns out to be a big hollow teddy bear. But it comes up, I'm like, I forget what it's called, but it's on the internet, Instagram, stuff like this. But little
Oh,
pieces, and it's 3-dimensional. This isn't like just. I mean, it looks like a pro Lego set. Like, I mean, because
yeah.
they're super teeny tiny things, but it's all dimensional, and it's like a crazy amount of layer by layer, and you got to take this little hammer and make sure one layer is down. Then you build the next ring, then the next ring, and it's either bigger or smaller, and it creates this really cool looking teddy bear.
Oh, very cool. There's a lot of ingenuity and invention in that. Like we're building a Lego car right now, and it's a big Ferrari, and it's that Lego Technic stuff. And right now we're just like we've just built the gearbox, and there's just all these parts, and they all turn, and you've got the engine that will build, and the pistons all run, and it's amazing. And you build this entire car. I can't imagine the amount of time and effort and brain power that went into designing such a amazingly complex um, kit like that, because it's not just designing the car, it's designing it with all the parts that you can use, and then having a way and a process to put the entire thing together. It blows my mind how sophisticated this thing is. It's pretty shocking, actually.
Yeah. Hey, would you ever space travel?
It would be neat, I think, but um it would be really cool actually to be able to go up into space and look down on Earth and see the moon and all like that. I think that'd be amazing. But I wouldn't be the one to, hey, like let's go to Mars, and the chances of you coming back are probably zero. No,
Yeah.
that's a little.
Yeah, maybe doing what Bezos and them did was they go up and they experience weightlessness, and then it comes back down. What
Yeah.
about what about you say, hey, you got the opportunity to go to the International Space Station for a month?
Oh no, I would be so claustrophobic. That would I
Yeah,
would
that's
not do well with
see,
that. No way.
that's
Yeah.
that's why I don't do scuba diving and stuff like that either. I'm like,
Yeah.
one little, I mean, just like a weird little thing, like something around my head, around my face, around, uh, that's a little too much for me, I think.
Yeah. I did one. I did a scuba course one time. I don't think it was quite for me, but I found it easier because I could swim around and go places. But if I was in a submarine, I think that would really get to me because I can't get out. Like you lose all
Yeah.
the control, you just can't get out. I would get claustrophobic and something like that. I know, like but be up there for a month. That'd be like being in an elevator for a month. Nope.
Yeah. But I watched this interview with Mr. Beast. You know that guy from like YouTube and all that?
Familiar. Yeah.
So Mr. Beast and David Letterman, they're just having a regular conversation. He's not doing a show or whatever, but he's showing some things that he's done. And one of them was he was buried alive for like 7 days, right, in a coffin. But I mean, it was a oversized coffin. You know, he had air, he had food, water, all that type of stuff. But his friends would screw with him with music and craziness coming, piping it in there, just, so he couldn't sleep and things like that. But as soon as they started throwing the dot, because it was a glass coffin that he had, so they could kind of watch how it was happening, And as soon as they started throwing the dirt on him, and he's only like 3 foot or 4 foot down in the ground, I'm like going, nah, I wouldn't like that at all.
There's no way.
There's no way. Yeah, no way. And they say if you're ever buried alive, don't try to go out the top, right? You have to dig a hole down first, right? And so you break a hole through the bottom first, right? And then make it as wide as you can and try to pull the dirt up into where you're at. And then go to the top, because the dirt that comes down through won't suffocate and bury you in the coffin. It'll go down in the hole you just created. So the dirt above you goes through the coffin into the hole that you created below it. Apparently.
That still doesn't seem like the volume makes sense. If you have that much dirt above you and you're trying to jam it into the little bits of the coffin to make the hole underneath, I don't know. That doesn't seem to add up quite right.
I think I'm just done. If it happens to me, I think I'm just done. I don't know if I'm going to, that'll be one of those things where I would hope that, the Saved by the Bell thing, right? That there's a string, I can go like this and it rings a bell up top. You remember that's how they come up with that saying was, in the older, we'll say the 18, maybe not 18, we'll say 16, 1700s, they would put a bell by the headstone. And when they buried you, in case they were wrong, that you hadn't died, that, they got it wrong, you could ring the bell from inside your coffin and they would come get you. And it was called Saved by the...
That is pretty creepy.
Yeah, it's dumb stuff. We always talk about dumb stuff. But
well, and who'd be the first one to get some fishing line and attach to the bell and ring, 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 just to get people come running and freak them out? And
redig them up.
Yeah,
I'm still dead. Yeah. How do you do that? So, all right. So if you met an alien, right? If you met one, what would that be like?
Well, here's a question. Maybe we have. I mean, we don't know what it's like, right? Like maybe we have, right?
Maybe you have. All right. So, okay, let's just say it's like Bigfoot then. It's not like you, right? What if you meet something that is not like you, but it's not an animal and it's not Bigfoot? It's what you consider to be an alien.
I wonder how long it would be considered that, and how soon it would just turn into like just people would just think, oh, it's just an undiscovered animal like Bigfoot. I swear, like if they actually found it and proved it, I think it would be really neat for not long. And then they'd be like, it's just kind of like a bear or whatever, right? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
All right. So all these people that claim to have seen aliens, right? Seen them, been with them. They all explain a feeling where they're paralyzed. They can't do anything. They can't say anything. They can't move. They can't do whatever. It's just like the alien takes over their body and their mind during that interaction. You never heard that?
No, but I don't know. Doesn't seem like people's recurring dream. Like when have you ever been to that space between sleep and awake where you feel paralyzed for? I haven't had that since I was a kid probably, but I do remember a couple times you kind of feel like you can't wake up or then you do. And I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's a recent story from military people, right? I'll say Air Force, either Nevada or Arizona. somewhere in there, where they've claimed to encountered these, and that was their interaction with them. They encountered some alien that was able to control what they did, and it was almost like they blacked out for a certain amount of time. Because they went out to investigate the lights and the moving and all that type of stuff, and they actually encountered one because it was a crash, I guess, of some sort.
Okay, where did you hear that?
Dude, all these documentaries.
Documentaries, yeah. Use that term loosely, I think, but
like,
that's just me. Maybe I think I'm a bit more skeptical than you. Looking it up. All right, let's see what Chelsea comes up with, because of course that can't be infallible either. You know, AI will never make a mistake. But let's see.
No, but I wanted to reference. I want Chelsea to reference the story I'm talking about, so I can give somebody, hey, go look for this to learn more about it. Right?
Yeah.
It says, just like Missouri, you don't know shit. It doesn't say that. It says searching the web, and it's searching a long time. So,
yeah. Unsurprisingly, somehow.
So I think chat from 3 to 4 to 5 just means we're going to take our time. Longer and longer and longer wait times for things.
Like, what is with this guy?
Yeah. Oh, think about it. It's screwing up my whole profile on this thing. I'm like, oh, well, I just want to know all this stuff about aliens all the time. He's one of those. Hey, and if you're with the government and you pick this up somehow, dude, we're just playing around.
The men in black are going to show up at your house tomorrow morning. Bing bong.
Yeah. Where's that? Vandenberg? Is that something like that? Yeah. Oh, 2025, there are hearings on it. We already know that. I thought there was some in Vandenberg. Let's see. I think it was in Nevada.
What were the ones you said there were hearings on it in 2025? What is that?
Oh, you haven't seen that? Where they declassified a bunch of these, you know.
Oh, the UAP stuff, right?
Yeah, UAP stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's not one.
Yeah.
Florida. Military veterans, including Air Force personnel, testified about an aircraft that seemed to withstand missile fire and hover over bases.
That's a little different than we met some guy.
Yeah. I'm probably lying. Or if you really think about it, it doesn't sound true, right? Like, oh, Mike,
sounds like something that might be on Discovery Channel or something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
or chat has been scrubbed and not mentioned stuff like that.
Maybe
to not fire guys like me up. No, it happened. They were face to face. And then he gave him a chiclet. He gave me a chiclet.
Oh, boy.
Can you imagine if that was your story? I think that was on Saturday Night Live. Like, have you ever seen where those three people were getting interviewed?
That's interviewed. The funniest. Oh my God.
That is the best. Funniest.
That what is her name? Kate. So she was. I don't think she's on Saturday Night Live anymore. She was the best comedic actor or whatever that they have had in the last like 20 years. She was so good. Kate McKinnon, I think is the name, something like that.
Yeah, I think it is Kate McKinnon. But it was so funny because these other folks are talking about how wonderful. Oh, it was dreamlike and it was visceral and it was like they got all this wonder. They go, well, I don't know about you guys.
Oh man, it's if you haven't seen it, it's worth looking that one up. I'm gonna look that one up right after the show because it is so funny. It is such a good one.
Yeah, so I don't know. They're not going to tell me. Chat's not going to tell me anything about that. So I would have to probably give it more specific things to be able to do it. But I'm thinking I just saw that somewhere, or I heard a podcast, somebody talking about it, where there's a story in, I'm going to say Arizona or Nevada, where they were investigating one of these spacecrafts or different crafts, unidentified craft on the base. And when they got out the car, they were approached by an alien, and everybody time and everything paused for them for a certain amount of minutes. And then when they came to, there was no alien. It was like, I think it was ayahuasca, but
So maybe some really stiff weed, maybe, or something too. You never know.
we never.
See, now people are going to say, I heard it on a podcast. I think it was on Mike and Blaine. I swear.
Yeah, Mike and Blaine know everything about UAPs.
We know how to spell.
We don't finish documentaries. We don't read articles. We get all of our information from each other. There's got to be something there.
It's got to be something in there somewhere. It's as informed as probably 99% of the stuff on the web. So, and somehow it might be the first time we usually we kind of dig into some business somewhere along the line, and somehow we did this one all BS. But I don't know. This is where it goes. It goes where it goes.
Here's what I'm going to say for business. Then, if aliens or meteors or comets can find Earth, then there's no reason why your email can't find your target. Your marketing can't find the right person. There's no reason why.
They don't have to deal with the spam filters.
That's right. That's right. So there's my business connection right there. There's no reason why your marketing can't hit the right target.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I think this year's going to be fun. That actually was probably one of our dumbest, but it was kind of fun.
It's kind of fun. And I know we'll have ones that probably go a little more into business, ones that don't. But I don't know, it's just kind of fun to just BS and explore some things and chat about some things that are top of people's minds. It was kind of fun. It was interesting. You had a lot of, well, I guess Chelsea helped, but you had a lot of nuggets of gold there. So
just help me verify, right? I think we use Chelsea to verify stuff. Like, I heard this story. Like, going, no, Mike, that's not true. Dang it. I wonder how many times in my life I believed something that wasn't true.
Yeah, probably at this point, with all the overwhelming amount of data out there, is probably once a week for everybody.
Yeah,
right. Probably enough. Once a day, because it just you can't. It's just too much information, and probably 90% of it is BS. But it's like,
all right,
so Blaine show today.
There you go. The first live session of 2026, season 6. The first one's in the books, man. So we're going to try this all year. Yeah.
And go to mikeandblaine.com, buy us a beer, and we will mention you at the start of the episode. $5 is the best money you'll ever spend on marketing. You can't get bang for your buck like that $5 buy us a beer. So jump over there, and also like, subscribe, follow, and tell your friends.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.